on the live, if you want to share it from your other device or whatever, you can go ahead and share the live with other folks.
Wait, how do I do that?
On your Facebook. You'd have to be in Facebook, and then you can share it on Facebook. All right.
On my phone.
All right. We're live. I think it's live. I think it's on there. I think I look frozen on my screen, but whatever. Welcome, everybody. We are here to talk all things raising confident and kind girls. And I love saying that, confident and kind. You know, a lot of people talk about confident and strong, and like there's this pressure to be this strong. Well, if you're confident, you are strong. So it's just kind of a given. But I think it's really important that we acknowledge that as women, and men are too, but being kind is a really cool thing. So anyway, welcome to everybody today. I'm going to go through and just really briefly introduce you to our guest speakers today, all of whom have a heart and a passion for working with moms and daughters, as well as their own companies. And so I want them to be able to share with you a little bit today, in case any of you moms and daughters out there are interested in coaching with them or purchasing their products or working with them or just learning more from them. So I'm going to start with Amy, I forgot to spotlight you. Where are you?
Here I am.
There you are. I'm going to start with Miss Amy. She and Amy Miller, and she's with the Duet Project. And Amy and I met a few months ago and actually had her on my podcast. And we just were talking about, we need to do a mother-daughter thing. So brainstormed, and then it just all of a sudden it came to be. It happened. Amy made some calls. I introduced her to a few people, and then here we are today. So Amy, can you just really quickly tell us, I'm going to introduce you later, but just a little bit about why you're here.
Well, I'm here because I love to help families create connections. And then you graciously introduced me to all these women here on the call. And I reached out to each of them and I said, hey, will you be a part of this roundtable? We can talk about mothers and daughters and raising confident and kind girls. And they all said yes. So that was awesome. That's why I'm here.
I love it. So thank you so much for doing that. I love brainstorming. And, you know, a lot of times we have these ideas and then we don't put them into action. And I love that we're taking action on this. All right, next, really quick, I want to introduce Jeannie Baldomero. Jeannie's one of the authors in our first ever No Problem Parenting, Raising Your Kiddos with More Confidence and Less Fear. So hi, Jeannie, welcome today.
Hi, thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Amy, for inviting me on this table discussion. Well, a little bit about me. I love mentoring moms in the tween teen season who have daughters. I think it's such a tender season. So anything I can do to mentor moms in this season, I'm here for that.
Awesome. Super cool. Thanks for being here. And Elise, and by the way, you guys, everybody that is here today has been on the No Problem Parenting podcast. I'll put later on, I'll go and I'm going to actually just find each of the episodes and I'm going to put them in the comments on the live stream so that if people want to, they can go there and learn more about each one of you. But Elise, welcome today. Tell us a little bit about why you're here.
Hi, thank you for inviting me on here today. I am also I'm a life and wellness coach, and I specialize in working with teens and parents of teens, typically moms of teens. And yeah, I'm just really passionate about helping parents stay connected to their teens through these more tumultuous times. And oftentimes that's like adjusting what our ideas of connection are.
Yeah, that can vary, right? Our ideas can be skewed and can be tweaked sometimes a little bit. Okay, awesome. Thanks for being here, Elise. And then Heather Greco. I think it still says Stenker on your thing.
No, we're in flux.
I'm learning. I'm trying to remember. Hey, Heather, welcome today. Why'd you decide to join us?
Well, I have a daughter. I have 3 kiddos, but she is surrounded by testosterone. So it's like a little bit different when you have to tailor to like the rough and tumble, but the girliness. And so it's a balance. They're, very sensitive. And so I thought it would be a good opportunity to talk just about her and give her some, whether she's here or not, give her some attention and get some ideas and share what I have been able to do with mine for everyone else that has a daughter. She's 7, so take that with what you will.
Yeah, and I should have, maybe later we'll mention to everybody too, the age of our daughters right now. I don't have a daughter. I have nieces that I absolutely love, but I'm learning from all of you. And that's another reason why I wanted to bring you guys on, because you live with them, you know it, you're in the trenches and or have raised them. So, all right, thanks for being here, Heather. And then Andy, Miss Andy Robb.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks for inviting me. And Amy, thanks for asking me to be here. So what I was asked to do on the podcast and come on here also is that I educate consumers on ingredient safety in personal care products and help them find safer personal care products for themselves, their kids, and their families. But above and beyond that, I am a mom of 2 tweens. And so I think that's the one common thread that we all have. We'll talk about their ages a little bit later and just maybe some of the ways that we are raising kind and confident girls in this very, very intimate time of development and growth.
Awesome. All right. Awesome. Thanks for being here, Andy. All right. We're going to get right into it, you guys. I've got a question for each one of you, and how this is going to work is I'm just going to ask you the question, and then you're going to share with us your thoughts. And then anybody that is moved or feels like they have some input can just kind of chime in. We're going to do all of this within the hour, maybe less. And so raise your hand if you have something to say, or just interrupt, because as women, we're really good at that. Let's start out with Amy. Amy, you're a credentialed art teacher. You're a certified parenting coach. You're an artist. If you can't tell by her background, Amy's an artist. She's a camp mom and a natural connector. She's the founder of the Duet Project, which is a monthly program that encourages a deeper connection or deeper bond with your loved ones. And it works incredibly well to bring moms and daughters more closely together, especially when you're trying to reach and connect your daughter and she's like not wanting to talk, not wanting to open up, and that sort of thing. Amy's Doodle Hearts event, which I'm going to let you tell us about that, is super great for moms and daughters to connect while doodling, while creating a piece of art. So Amy, will you share the technique that you use to ground yourself when you start to feel anxious or upset? Because I know that this can happen when we're anxious or upset as moms. It's like we start nagging, demanding, telling, giving advice that's unwanted, all that kind of stuff. So when you start to feel like, what do you do to ground yourself?
So thank you for asking that. And when we all know about the pause, right? It's the pause. We all talk about that. And oftentimes I hear, okay, just take a breath. And so like when we're in conflict or in interaction with someone else and we're getting triggered and we take a deep breath, then that's just going to trigger the other person more, because they can visually see that you are trying to calm yourself down. So I don't know, I've been doing this for so many years, I'm not even sure how it started, but what I do when I want to take that pause is I curl my toes. And curling my toes, it's like instantaneous. I start to get a little triggered and I curl my toes, and what it does is it slows me down. It grounds me to the earth. It helps me speak slower. It helps me pause and listen to what they're actually saying. And it really gives me something to focus on, to think about what I actually want to respond with versus reacting. I don't want to react. And then how that translates into helping our daughters be kind and confident girls is we're modeling for them as often as we can, and we remember to take a moment to be thoughtful with our words, which means we're being kind. If someone says something to us or to them, they can just like, and then just that one moment of curling your toes kind of just gives you a moment's break, so you can think before responding.
That's a really good idea. I hadn't even thought of that. Curling your toes,
no one can see you.
Yeah,
you guys can all be curling your toes right now. I'm curling my toes, so I remember, like, what do I want to say about this? And I like can be animated up here, but you have no idea that I'm doing something else to like control just to control myself.
And just kind of just feel your body instead of being, like that's why I like with the pause with your hand on your heart and your hand on your stomach kind of forces you to push back. But you can't always do that, or it's like you can other people can see that. And so I like the curl. I'm curling my toes right now.
Me too.
Literally.
Who else is curling their toes?
Yeah, right. And you're making me think. So this is a little bit TMI, Jackie. Sometimes I do this, and it's just who I am. I remember somebody telling me one time I get emotional, and sometimes I start to cry because I'm happy or I'm really touched or heartfelt about something. Other times I start to cry because I'm embarrassed or I feel sad, kind of about the situation or whatever, but or pressured. But I don't always want to cry because it's not really about me. Sometimes I'm mad and I start to cry, and it's like, I don't want to cry because I'm mad. So I heard this from somebody. You're supposed to squeeze your butt cheeks. And so it like literally try to do this when you're feeling the tears coming down. You're like, I don't want to be emotional right now. I don't want to have this, like, I don't want to lose it. Squeeze your butt cheeks. If nothing else, it kind of helps you shift your brain instead of, and like get off focus of whatever it is you were thinking about that you became really emotional about. And you can chuckle, end up chuckling.
It's like having that physical sensation. I mean, you can also do like, squeeze your fingers together or something small that is distracting.
Yeah.
That also helps you focus.
Yeah.
Like when I'm going to get a shot, I know it's going to hurt. I try to kind of hurt myself someplace else or like give myself another sensation so I don't feel that as much.
Right. It's just it's the art of distraction. And that I like what you said about it helps us respond instead of like react.
Yeah.
And get like defensive or resistant about it. Anyone else have anything?
Not just to use with our daughters. We can use it with our partners, our friends. We're standing in line and someone's annoying. You can just like curl your toes.
Yeah, cool. I love it. Anybody else have any little tricks that they do physically?
My life hack, it's not physical. What I've always done is I was taught that if you sing happy birthday in your head, you cannot cry because no one feels sad hearing the song Happy Birthday sung to them. And I still do it to this day. So it doesn't work if you're in the midst of a conversation. I think the butt cheeks and the toes work a little bit better. Yeah. But try that one sometimes because I guarantee you it puts a smile on your face.
Oh my gosh, that's super fun. Awesome. All right. Well, next I wanted to bring Jeannie up. So Jeannie, you're the founder of the Rooted program. I love the name. I just absolutely love the name. And you're the mentor of moms and teen girls. You help them by equipping them with resources and tools that help the daughters through their awkward stage of getting into that like middle school and teenage years, right? Without risking the relationship with the mom and daughter. You're super good at helping that transition. You're the wife. You've been a wife for 20 years of your amazing husband. You have 3 teenagers. I'm outing that. And you also mentor youth girls programs in your church, right? Your passion for kids as a former educator, your value for a strong, healthy family unit as a homeschool family. You were a homeschool family for several years, and your zeal to impact young teen girls has led you to partner with moms and guide them to create healthy relationships with their teens. So welcome. And my question for you is, why do you think that there's a disconnect or a shift in relationship for moms when their daughters go into middle school? So like, it often, I hear this all the time too, like that grade school as they're starting to get into middle school, which now can be like even 6th grade. It used to be more definitively 7th grade, but middle schools are getting, right? We're putting 6th graders into middle school. So why do you think, there's that disconnect or shift in the relationship with the mom at such a time when you think they'd really need us and want us around?
Good question. Actually, I've even heard from moms that I work with, it can even happen as early as 9 years old, where they start to notice the snappiness, the leave me alone comments. One thing, and I want to tell moms that it's completely normal to feel like your daughter is starting to detach or disconnect from you, that there is going to be a shift in your relationship during this time. And I want to make sure that moms know that and hear that, because it's not you, it's the season. Just to understand it, like girls, and we've gone through it, we've been middle schoolers, and we've gone through the change. We go through a lot of biological changes, but also behavioral changes, right? Because of these changes that are happening, we start to disconnect from wanting our parents or even the family unit and starting to think on our own. We start to goal set, we start to think abstractly, right? And that comes with some, I'm going to detach and start to think on my own. That's actually a great sign, Mom, that you are doing an awesome job. Your daughter is starting to pull away from you, because that is really the goal, right? When they become an adult, is to be self-sufficient, independent, and a good citizen, right? But sometimes it's very hard for us to comprehend that, us moms, when we don't see those signs, right? Because we're still holding on to the little girl that hugged us, that kissed us, that welcomed us to tuck them into bed. And all of a sudden they're closing the door in our faces, asking us, well, not asking, telling us to leave them alone, right?
Yeah.
So what do we do with that, right? How do we remain connected with moms or with our daughters during this time? I think it's also shifting our mentality of what our role is as mom. We're no longer the queen in her life. We can't just tell her what to do. We can't just tell her that these are the rules and you're going to follow them, right? Because that's not going to sit well.
I mean, we can do that, but chances are when we're doing that, they're like, yeah, you want to bet?
Exactly. What you told me no, watch me,
Right.
So it's how do we navigate that? Well, we got to shift our role to, this is now coach. We're coach. We're coach in their life. When you think about a football team, what does a coach do? They're on the sidelines while the player, your daughter, is on the field. They're the ones calling the plays, right? The mom is calling the plays, but they have to make the choice to listen. So if we can look at our daughter's life and our relationship in that way, and keep the relationship, the things that matter most to us in a relationship, at the forefront, and allowing these mini battles, and even losing to some of these mini battles and let them go, pick and choose, then I think we can navigate through that stage a little bit better, and understanding what our middle schooler is going through, and maybe even take ourselves back to that stage and understand what we're doing.
Yeah, I love that. Putting yourself in their shoes. We were all there, right? And I think there's a tendency for us as parents to just like want to tell them everything we learned in our experiences and how things turned out for us, because then we're, that's going to help them. They won't have to make the same mistakes, or they can learn from us. But honestly, their mistakes or their experiences, that's exactly what taught us, right? That's what helped us. So we don't want to rob them of being able to go through that, right?
Yeah, they still want our guidance. They yearn for it. They're just asking for it in a different way, right? They want to be heard, and they want to know that you're still mom and you're going to still be there.
Yeah, I love that. Anyone else have anything to add to that? Any experience with the stiff arm from your tween or preteen or teen, where it's like, get out of my face, you don't understand, get away from me?
I don't know. I have had go ahead. I was gonna say,
No.
I've had a strong-willed
Go ahead.
daughter for a long time. And I love that about her. We've said since she was 2 years old, she's going to be a CEO or, some ambassador someday. We've really nurtured that, but it is really hard now that she's getting into those middle school years as a fifth grader, and she is doing the stiff arm. And we said, no, we know this about you, and we have to nurture it and we have to grow. But again, it's kind of one of those things that you have to step into that coach role and make sure she does that transition successfully. So I really resonated with what you were talking about. That's exactly what we're going through at home.
It's funny that you just said that, because I always say that, like, my daughter's very strong-willed, and she came a month early. She got pregnant, didn't even know I was pregnant with her. She's like one of those, and then just decided to stay in the NICU for a month because she felt like it. There was really nothing wrong, right? She's on her own pace, 6 pounds, 6 ounces, like preemie, that thing. So I always say raising CEOs are really difficult because they are so super strong-minded, and they're very stubborn, and they know what they want. But when they're little, at least mine's 7 going on 17, it's like you want to nurture that, you want to encourage it, but at the same time, it's like, I'm still the boss. Like, you still got to do, like, I don't like my teacher. She's always telling me what to do. I'm like, adults will do that till you're 18. Like, it's to keep you safe. It's, you know, learn from it. And she does not like being told what to do. And so it's yeah, raising CEOs is difficult work.
Absolutely. I don't know. I keep getting a flash of light here, so I might take a break and fix my lighting in a second. But any other thoughts on that, Jeannie? And anything that, you know, like, I like this idea of raising CEOs. It is true that we need to be coached, move into that coach role when and when they're wanting to be independent rather than pulling in the reins and, you know, trying to control them more. We need to actually let them be more independent, make some decisions, even though we know, oh my gosh, this is not going to go well. This is like totally not going to go well. She's going to get in trouble at school, or she's going to get in trouble with her friends, or something's going to happen. And you just literally have to let that happen. Right.
Yeah. And, you know, just knowing what they're really good at, what they're gifted at. Heather, I mean, you made a good point, like knowing your daughter and their personality and where this is leading in a positive way. It's, if you can keep that in the forefront of your head, you know, as a coach, how you're going to guide. Like some of the things, I mean, we're all going to make mistakes. I still make mistakes as an adult. We're going to be imperfect, but if we can take their giftings and guide them in a way where they're going to use it for good, okay, they're going to make mistakes. That's the refinement journey. And so we don't have to necessarily like already predict their future from that, right?
Amen. Yes, I love that.
But use it as a learning opportunity, right? For them to be refined.
So one of the posters I have these posters all over my studio, and I have one right there, and it says, mistakes are proof that you are trying. So it's important that our daughters see us make mistakes and acknowledge them, like, hey, I made a mistake, and then, you know, talk that through so that they know it's okay for them to make mistakes. And one of the things I took a note here from something earlier we were talking about is the adjectives that we use for our daughters when they're younger, and that those CEO qualities, those are the things, you know, we need to have them be empowering words for our daughters so that it's not perceived as being negative, so that when they are CEOs and they are strong-willed, and there's a reason why they got to be CEO at wherever they are as an adult. So we want to make sure that those adjectives are very empowering.
Because there are some words that we really do want to use in those moments, don't we?
Yeah, that's what actually made me think of it. You know? Right.
Well, and
like,
sometimes we do those things, and because we're not perfect, and no problem parenting, we understand that, like, you're gonna lose your cool. You're gonna lose your crap on your kids. You're gonna say something you regret, that you didn't mean to, that you feel bad for later. We just had a tip in the newsletter this week about that. It's like, but being able to recover and mastering the art of recovery after you've flown off the handle or done something that, you know, you weren't so proud of is really important. All right, Elise, let's go. Oh, Amy, did you have something?
Can I just say one more thing? Because it's making me think about, so I have two daughters, 20 and 22. And when one of them went off to college, my first one, and there was something she needed help with in a bigger picture of something. And I helped, but it wasn't exactly the way she wanted help. And I didn't do it the way she had wanted. And what I just said, you know, look, this is like a new role for me. I am navigating how to be your mom now. And it was like a real big shift to parent, coach, adult children who are CEOs.
Yeah. Legit, they made it, right?
Yeah.
Just really, if we're trying to be the perfect mom, or trying to like set the stage that we've got it all together and we know what to do and how, like, that is a wedge in the relationship right then and there. So admit your mistakes to your girls. They'll learn from that and they'll appreciate that, and it really will connect you more. Not in a friend level either. A lot of people think that, oh, that means you're just trying to be their friend. That's not what we're talking about, because you are still the leader. You are still a leader for them. And it's not about being a friend yet. The bonus is you get to be the friend when they get to adulthood. So, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that. All right, Elise. I want to introduce Elise to everybody. Elise is a life and wellness coach. She's a yoga teacher and a former middle school teacher who now works with moms and teens. You're fascinated by brain development. This is my conversation with you on the podcast was so fun. And the nervous system, which I love that you talk about this. And you believe that understanding the brain development and the central nervous system, both, that these two things can make the teen years go so much easier for mamas and their teens. And your mission is truly to bring enjoyment back into the family relationships and help by helping your clients connect with themselves and stay connected with their loved ones and with each other. So, we hear so often that, oh, you have teenage daughters. Oh, you have like really? Why is that why isn't that a yay and an awesome? And this is so fun, So how can moms stay connected to their teen daughters, even when they're like pulling away, shutting the door, stiff arming you, all that? You have some ideas for us.
Yeah. Yes, I do. So I think that one of my things that I hold true to is that you can only be as connected to others as you are to yourself. And so I think during the teen years, there's so much, there's more time, because when they're little, they need your time and they need all of your energy. And then as they grow up, they take a lot of energy because you are constantly worrying and all of the things, but you also have time. And I think it's one of the most important things to have a practice that you're doing self-reflection a lot. Journaling, mindfulness practices, I love yoga, that's my thing. But for me, journaling is really important, and for my clients, because there's so much that comes up when your kids are teenagers, or daughters especially, where if you're not really aware of what's going on for yourself, you're projecting a lot of what happened for you or fears onto them and their experience. Somebody said earlier, that they need to experience the things to learn. And as a mom, for me personally, I had a really bad breakup as a freshman in high school that really swept me. It took a long time to recover from that. So I know that if I don't heal that wound, I'm going to be on high alert. And this is where the nervous system comes in, just constantly searching for the person who's going to break my daughter's heart. From even the time she was 5, I was like, oh my God, it's going to hurt so bad, her first breakup, because that was my experience. And that is where that energy suck happens in the teen years, where your daughter is maybe out living her best life, and you're at home being oh my gosh, what's gonna, worrying about all of the things. And then they feel your energy, they can sense. And typically, if you're worrying about something, you're going to be holding on tighter. You're going to be a little bit more overbearing. And in the teen years is when they're starting to push back. And so I really advocate for moms really connecting to themselves during this time as much as possible. Self-reflection, having a friend, hopefully that's not local. Because another thing that happens during teen years is it's isolating, because maybe your teen doesn't want you to talk about whatever's going on for them, or maybe you feel just a lot of discomfort because you're taking the responsibility of what your teen is doing as your own. So you don't want to share it with people who are close in proximity, especially. And so having people to talk to is really, really important during this time. Because I think that Jeannie said, you're not alone. Every parent of a teen is experiencing similar things, but not as many people are talking about it. When they're little, it's potty training and sleep training, and that's their game. But when they're teens, it's harder.
I love all these things that you're saying. So like, first of all, projecting fear, like from your own, hadn't even thought of it like that, but yeah, your own like experiences growing up, the things that happened to you. You had a tough breakup in your freshman year and you don't want your daughter to go through that again. We're trying to protect them from going through that experience because it breaks our heart, you know, tears or tugs on our heartstrings to see them sad, in pain, you know, that kind of thing. And at the same time, that's okay. Like the good news is you're there to guide, comfort, but you don't have to like, you know, go find out who the kid is and like get on the phone. Oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't call the other kid's parents and like, you know, say that you're going to do X, Y, and Z and that, you know, get into the battle, help them figure out how they're going to cope. And then that I think also builds confidence, and it tells your daughter that you believe she's capable of overcoming this.
Yeah. And like something that I've just been really leaning into recently is, yes, the breakup was like terrible for me. It was really hard. It's still like, I can still remember those moments, but there were so many amazing moments. And like with dating boys, with friend things, with all of the things, like there are hard times in adolescence, but it's also some of the most amazing experiences because everything's new and exciting. And so if as a parent, you're just focused on the breakup and not like the new feelings that your daughter's having in friends or with boys or with whatever, you miss like all the joy.
Very good point. Yeah, Heather.
I have something to add. So touching on like watching your kids make the mistakes or watch them go through something where you think is going to happen because it happened to you, but it might not happen to them. Personally, I'm at the tail end of a divorce, and it's a very hard thing to do, to let things happen to my kids, especially my daughter. She is very anxious and has been affected a lot by the circumstances of what went down through the marriage. And so seeing things 6 steps ahead and knowing what's going to happen and how I feel about it, it's a very conscious thing that I have to do, just sit back and let it happen, which is awful, because they need to learn their way. I can't control everything. I won't be there all the time, but helping them experience the things in their own way will also mold them to make the decisions and things later. If we do that for them, then we're almost like predicting the future without actually knowing it will happen or affect them that way.
I love that you bring this up, Heather, because here's the thing. We're not saying that you don't have to say anything to your daughter if you're worried about her, nervous, you know, especially if there's safety. Hey guys, if there's ever safety involved, like all this stuff goes out the window, right? You just do what you got to do to keep.
Nope, not going.
Yeah. Right. But like, I think it's also really good when you're wondering as a mom, about something, or you're nervous about them experiencing something or not being able to handle something, whatever, have that conversation. Sit next to them on the couch and just say, hey, I don't want to, there's a part of me that wants to protect you from this. And just like literally say those words. There's a part of me that wants to protect you from this. I'm really nervous or worried. And that's not about you. That's about me. And you like literally say, so here's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I feel like you needed to know, but I don't need you to do anything. I'm okay. I just kind of want you to know what I'm thinking. And that is so much better than trying to tell them in a telling way or an advice kind of way what you want them or don't want them to do. Right.
So I think just, acknowledging the lesson also is really important. When something happens, or if something's happening in the middle of something happening, acknowledge, wow, you are really learning how to set boundaries right now. Wow, you're really getting some thick skin so that you can take care of yourself. And just kind of like, you can say thank you to that person for teaching you this lesson so early, because some adults don't have this lesson. Yeah. And I've said that also to my kids.
Awesome. Yeah, Jeannie.
I also think just if you have like an inkling of something's going on, to have those probing questions, just to ask and see what your thinking matches up with what they're thinking or what they're doing is really something innocent, and that's how that's how I would handle it. I probe my kids all the time. Like, I'm thinking this because I see signs, but let me just probe and ask. and then they're more guided.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's super great advice. Noticing, wondering, and saying things like, I notice, I'm wondering, I'm thinking, I'm feeling, you know, all of that. And then I love that matching it up to what's going on with them. And are they thinking the same thing? And sometimes we're making a big deal out of it. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Mom, really? Like, it's fine. I'm fine. You know,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And we forget we're years ahead of them. So we've lived with experience, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
their experience are limited. So what we're thinking might not be the same as what they're thinking.
But
Yeah.
also give them credit because kids are sponges, and they pick up on things so fast. I mean, my daughter is 7 and there's things that I will say and she'll be like, why are you sorry? Like, it's not your fault when I'm feeling, because I don't think that she still understands like that. And she's like, no, you had nothing to do with that, Mom. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you're
Okay,
7.
good to know. Yeah.
We're just, all right, then I'll just stop talking because they
Right.
can make they're smarter and they actually can put things together quicker than what we think because they're our children and we think that, oh, they just don't know yet, or, you know, we'll just wait. But there's so much more also of information and things that are out there now than when we were kids. Everyone's got a computer in their hand. And so they're learning things. I mean, I got the whole Santa question from yesterday he turned 9. And I was like, nope. Don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm not having that conversation right now. Cause
I love that. We should get back on soon and talk about that one. Cause I have a great Santa story about how you handle that. But no, I love that, Heather. It's a really good point. I want to keep moving so that we get done on time. I think we're doing good so far, but we have a little something special at the end. I want to be able to have time for. So, Andy, you're a senior level executive at Jones Lang LaSalle with nearly 20 years of corporate real estate experience, but and your career began in the professional salon industry, right? As at the corporate level, what was it? I forget where you were at.
I was at Regis Corporation.
Regis,
Medina.
that's right. Yeah. But after the Safer Salon bill was passed in 2018, you became a brand advocate with the Santa Monica-based retailer called Beauty Counter. My new fave, you guys. If you haven't heard about Beauty Counter, go check them out. But since then, you've literally educated hundreds of families on the health impacts of exposure to harmful ingredients in their personal care products. And we're going to relate this to our teen girls specifically today, even though this is for anybody in the family, right? And you and your husband are the parents of 2 teenage girls. You mentioned that a little bit earlier, but I was astounded when we had the podcast episode. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, how are these products even allowed in the United States of America? Like, how are some of these allowed? We were talking anything from menstrual cycles and period panties to deodorants to whatever. So tell us a little bit more about what you do, especially as it relates to teenage girls and safe care or safe health products.
Yep, absolutely. So as you mentioned, I started my career right out of college working in the professional salon industry at the corporate level, which is where I saw and learned how shampoos and all of those fun things I put in my hair were made. And that was the first time that I knew, or that I saw firsthand, that we made 3 separate formulas for the US, Canada, and UK. And I didn't know why then. I didn't care. All I knew was that when I placed my personal order at work and they accidentally sent me a Canadian SKU, I was so mad because it wasn't sticky. It didn't smell the same. It didn't hold its texture. I didn't know then. And fast forward many years, in 2018, I had heard about the Safer Salon bill. The Safer Salon bill was a bill that was passed saying that when you go to the salon and you sit back in that chair and put your head in the bowl, there's a bunch of products on the counter, behind the counter, called your back bar. And those come from the manufacturer directly. They're big, big jugs, but the manufacturer never has to say what ingredients are inside those labels or inside those products because they're not for resale. And that is how, through decades and decades, salon workers and even nail salon techs were being absolutely harmed by the chemicals that they were breathing in day after day after day. So in 2018, all manufacturers had to actually disclose what was in those big jugs. Okay. So that was kind of my big wake up moment. and why I decided I wanted to partner with Beauty Counter. Beauty Counter is an advocacy brand, and we are advocates first and foremost. So not only do I love educating teens and tweens and moms and dads about ingredient safety and how to find safer products, but I also have the opportunity to use my voice on the state and federal level and actually meet with Congress and meet with representatives to educate them about important pieces of legislature that are currently up for review. So kind of bringing it back to like why I'm geeking out over being on this, chat with all of you guys is my girls they're 10 and 13. And they're going through this crazy, crazy time right now, as we're all talking about. And you had just mentioned, Heather, computers in your hands, right? It's a very different generation that they are growing up in. And my favorite song that we're hearing right now is Jax, who sings Victoria's Secret. If you haven't learned or heard it yet, it's that earworm that will be stuck in your head over and over again.
We're going to need to put that in the comments too. Somebody remind me, or go if somebody can remember to do that after we're done. That song, like is
so empowering.
It's the best. I love it.
Yeah. So I know Victoria's Secret, she was never made for me and you is the whole punchline. She was made by a dude who lives in Ohio, which is very true. So anyway, so they're walking around with these computers in their hands. And so we're approaching a whole new generation who is growing up with these unachievable expectations for what personal health and beauty look like. So, I always talk about filters. Filters are so fun. Filters are so I'm talking about like Snapchat and Instagram and all that. It's so much fun to play with those, but that is what they have grown up with. They've never known anything different than that. So when you're snapping and chatting and doing all those things that you're doing, you're always putting a filter, a sticker, or something over your face, covering up what you have. And that is the primary mode of communication between teens and tweens right now. Then when they see each other in real life, IRL, everyone looks different. Everyone's a little bit judgy. And you know what? These CEOs that we're raising right now, they tell each other very clearly, hey, your hair looks greasy today. Hey, you've got a pimple on your back. This is a true story. My daughter dances, she takes classical Russian ballet training. She had a pimple on her back and one of her classmates walked up to her, and this is like the Minnesota passive aggressive nature that we are. A girl walks up to her and says, oh, you have a pimple on your back. Can I pop it for you? What? So
no, we're good.
We're good. Girls are just, they're just, again, the expectation of what you see on the phone versus what you see in real life is very jarring for them. So sometimes they're growing up and they're saying, I don't know how to fix that. Like, I don't know how to not look like what is on this phone or what I've shared with people all day. And they feel this kind of like push pull to meet those expectations, whether they think it or not, or that they talk about it. It's that constant dissonance between the two. So beyond ingredient safety and helping families, find products that actually work, I'm talking about toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, that kind of stuff. Find products that actually work, that are safe and that are high performing. I always talk to teens and tween parents about habit stacking. Habit stacking is one of my favorite practices. And I usually bring it back to, gosh, I don't even have like all the bells and whistles I have, all of the cords that your kids have in their phones right now. I always attach a healthy habit to those cords. So for example, my kids use Chromebooks in school. So an example is in the morning when you wake up and you unplug your Chromebook, that's your reminder. Did I brush my hair today? Okay. When you pick up your phone off the nightstand or whatever it is, that's my reminder. Did I apply my deodorant today? We don't have to be constantly coming down on them and saying it's about personal hygiene. You stink and you smell and your hair's a mess and all that. Just attach a simple task that they can remind themselves to do every single day. Take that at night when they plug that Chromebook back into charge at night. Have I brushed my teeth? When they plug in that phone at night, did I wash my face? Those are simple things that you can attach so that you can build confidence over time in their overall health and wellness and taking care of themselves. And they're doing that on their own. It's not a mom or a dad or a friend telling them that they need to. It's just something simple, a simple trigger that they can connect to those tasks that they do every single day. And that way kind of gets ingrained in their well-being and in their health habits at a young age.
I love that. So you just take like a piece of tape or something with a little note on it that
just,
says
that, tape it like a little, like I wish I would have had it, like a little masking tape, like a little piece of tape, like a little flag on there, just a little reminder. And I promise you, because they do it every day, they're not going to school without their phones not charged, right? So they're plugging it in every single day. It's just that quick reminder, and it doesn't come from you. It's not someone sitting on their shoulder saying, did you do this yet? They're feeling empowered, they're feeling confident, and they do it whether we know or not. And it's just, like I said, it's a good, healthy habit to start at this age.
That is super fun. And this is actually, it's kind of cool that I had you and Heather back to back, because are you finding that too? Heather's like, wait.
I heard habit stacking. It was like my buzzword. But I was going to say before you dive in there is that we are also modeling them because they're watching us. Like my daughter will watch the products I'm using. She's watching me make my bed. If I don't make my bed one day, she's like, you didn't make your bed this morning, Mom. Like, I'm like, you're right. I didn't. They're watching and noticing. And so if we're modeling and using products and doing the things that we want them to do, they pick up on that. So
Absolutely.
Very true. Very true. So
And
you
I'm just going to interrupt really
Yeah,
quick.
please.
That's also like the way that we're talking about how we look and the way that we're looking at these people with all these filters and being like, oh my God, I can't believe I don't look like that. So like everything, they're watching us and they're sucking it up. And so the more that we can normalize looking normal, the better for them to feel okay about the way that their natural beauty.
That's a really good point. If we're saying, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, or oh my, and like whatever we're saying about ourselves is they're hearing that too. So yeah, very good point. I love that. All right, Heather is a busy mom of 3, and one of them happens to be a girl, right? Heather's the founder of Chaos and Cookies, another name that I just absolutely love. She does productivity coaching for moms and new business owners. She keeps moms from crumbling. That's your main objective, right, Heather? After gaining 10 years of experience as a director of marketing, helping build multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses for other women, Heather created the Chaos Control System. And that helps equip moms to overcome their own objections so they can live the life they want to live and start the business they've always wanted. Heather has a thing called the Family Playbook, you guys. It's kind of like a standard operating procedure for moms, but she also it also works if you own your own business. It's a tool that every mama needs to save time and stress less when chaos ensues at home, and it's amazing. So welcome, Heather. Let's get into your topic a little bit about that chaos control and how that can really help your teen daughter or preteen daughter or your 7-year-old. Maybe it's helping with that. And mom, because we know when moms are feeling kind of on top of things, we do better. And when we're feeling out of control and like we are disorganized and we don't know if we're coming or going, it brings up the anxiety in us, makes us a little bit more kind of pressured. And then the conversations kind of, get a little bit more agitated and irritable and all of that. And we become more demanding. So what are some ideas for us, Heather?
So when we were saying we were modeling behavior for our children, and if I get out overwhelmed and if I look frazzled, they feed off of that energy and then they get anxious. And if mom's not good, then no one's good, right? Because we're their person. And so we're their safety net. And so if like we have to come off as like being okay, so then they can understand like I don't have to worry about it or worry about me. My daughter gets very worried about everything. And so the Chaos Control System, the Family Playbook is the first edition, and it's a SOP for your home. It's literally how you run your home, how things function, schedules, the brands you use for food, where you can find them, everything that's up here on paper. And it's in that binder right there, right behind me. And it's 181 pages. It's very daunting, but it's all digital. And you can go on and change information without going and buying a new planner who has a million spirals. It's a way that we can write down our procedures, write down the things that mom knows. So we can do multiple things. One, empower ourselves, knowing, you know what, it's there for someone to reference. It's on my kitchen counter. It's on my shelf. Someone would need to go get it. If I need to bring in some help and I want to go like take a minute, I can just say, hey, it's on page 6. If there's anything you need, do. If it's not, then call me. Because as parents, when we get that text message from the sitter or the mother-in-law or our mom, like you're like, who's dying? Who's bleeding? Hold on. And you freak out. And then all it is like, where's the milk? It's nothing serious. And we're like, seriously? Like, huh? Like open your eyes and go to the fridge, right? Yeah. But it's the way that we keep things organized and handled. Personally, for me, I was using it as a method because my kids need to understand what's happening. Kids do much better when you prepare them and give them a rundown like, hey, we're going into Thanksgiving break. They're going to go to their dad's for the first time for an extended amount of time. I'm preparing them now and talking about it. And so being predictable. So then when you can put down everything in a controlled space, then you have more room to deal with the things that come up. Like when your daughter comes home crying because of what the mean girl said about the pimple on her back. Like those are going to take some time out of your day that you're not going to know until they get home. So having simple procedures and systems that work on its own for you will let those chaotic moments happen where you're like, you're not getting far behind. You can have a present moment with them and saying, well, we're going to have to talk about this later because we've got to do. There's some couple things that I do in my house for systems just to get my kids like going in the morning. So I don't have to yell and scream like, hey, it's summertime and you're wearing a sweater and jeans. So I have this hanging, the hanging shelves that you can get at any store. It's got 5 slots or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah,
And
like
on
those
Monday-
accordion sweater holder
Yeah,
things.
you can do
that
an accordion,
hang in
you
your
can do the
closet.
shoe racks. Yeah. And you can label them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I have them for all my kids. And on Sunday or maybe the Friday before, if my sitter is helping me, there's no shame in that game, getting some help outside, right? She will go in and put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All my kids have different PE days and they're ready to go. So then in the morning, they can go to the Monday slot and grab anything that you guys picked out together, that it's a crazy sock day. Everything's ready. It's prepared off your plate and you're saving more time in the morning by not arguing with them or looking for the socks that they just decide that morning they want to wear. It still happens. It's just minimizing it. Like my son this morning didn't want to wear anything that we picked out, even though it's a uniform, because it's just that day, and ends up putting on whatever was originally picked out in the first place. He's 5, but it's those things that is already a process. Like I can save time in the morning and maybe send a couple emails out because I know they're going to be able to get ready and they're not going to yell and scream at me like, where's this, where's that? And it's being proactive versus reactive. And so,
So you have like, these are 2 really big things, really fun things. And you just like, you've got so much, Heather. We're not going to be able to get it all in.
No, there's no way.
That's good because we're going to have them go to you to get it, because some of this stuff you offer free on your website too. But I love that. So the productivity book, like that is whether you're having a sitter, you're heading out of town, you're to a divorced family, or it's, your kids are in 2 different homes, whatever. This productivity book, it's like literally, it's amazing. And it grows with the kids. And so you can put all your stuff in there and reference, and people can reference that. I love that for as the kids grow older too, that they can kind of have their own, and they can learn about how to create their own, like their own systems. What are some of the things that they prefer or don't like, or, that kind of thing. So there's that. The other thing is that accordions or that sweater thing that you do that you hang in the closet. Literally, I have one in mine and I'm almost 50. So a lot of time at first I was like, this is a great thing for like the littler kids. It's not, it grows with, because how many times, especially we got teenage brain, right? And we forget as teenagers, like what's coming up or what we have to, going on throughout the week. And so putting it, whether it's clothes in there or it's sports equipment or a note for just a note listing what you need to bring, it goes in that accordion sweater thing in your closet, tucked away. Nobody else has to see it when they have friends over or whatever. But it's just a really good way to get the kids responsible for what, is their job.
Hey, moms, I have one for myself in the morning. I put my workout gear right there. I'm a big match set person. I don't know why. It's just one of those OCD things. I like my bra needs to match my yoga pants, guys. Sorry. and so I go and get the sets. I don't want to be looking for the sets because then I'm like talking myself out of it, or, can't work out today. So it's there for me. So in the morning, at night, habit stacking, I go get it. I put it on my sink. And so in the morning it's there and I have it laid out, no excuse. So
awesome.
It happens in lots of ways.
All right, we got to wrap up. I mean, obviously we could go on and on and on, and maybe we'll even do this again. We'll let people kind of let us know if they want. If you're watching the replay later, everybody, make sure you put #replay in there for us, or message one of us if you don't want to like let everybody else know that you watched it, but or share it. I want, before we go, you guys, first of all, the first 5 people, this is a big announcement that I have. So if you're catching the replay, probably going to be out. You're probably going to miss your chance. But the first 5 people that respond, that say in the chat, in the comments, no problem parenting, I'm going to gift you my online course, my program, absolutely free today. This is the month of November. It's anniversary month for Hello World and No Problem Parenting. It's my 9th year. So I'm giving away 5 becoming a no problem parent program. So all you have to do is put no problem parent in the comments, and I'm going to reach out to you in message, and then we'll get connected and I will gift you that course. Before we leave, I want to have all of you just tell me if you have an event going on or a way that people can get a hold of you. And then I'm going to ask you guys to put that in the comments as well. So go ahead, Amy.
Okay, so I have something exciting to share.
And we have like 2 minutes, guys. So sorry to make it rushed, but
Yep,
let's just
I'll
keep
go
going.
fast.
Yeah, just to
It's
say.
called 18 Days of Connection. And it's starting tomorrow, where I've gathered women, including some of you, to share a free gift that will connect either with ourselves, which is really important. We talked about that today, and with our families. And so all you need to do is go to my website, theduetproject.com, and sign up for my mailing list, and you'll be ready getting your first gift tomorrow until December 5th. And on December 5th, you'll get 1 free month of the Duet Project, which cultivates connection through art and conversation.
So awesome. Super awesome. All right, Jeannie.
Hi, if you go to my website, jeanniebaldemero.com, you'll find a link for I have a free resource library there, including clarifying your core values you can do with your family. Next week, actually, I am launching my annual holiday gift guide, shopping for your teenagers, because I know they're the easiest to shop for, right? But included in there is a guide that I'm putting together 52 dates you can do with your daughter.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that's super fun. I'm going to need to get that for my nieces because I never know what to buy them. Okay, Elise. Yeah, and as you guys have done this, go ahead and put it in the comments.
I also have a free gift that's 7 days of connecting with your teens. So they're across the board of like what they are, and they're very and then there's like reasons behind, there's a little bit more information about why you do the thing you do, and you might be surprised by some of them. They're not all like going and getting a mani and pedi together, which is kind of the boxed idea of how to connect with your teen.
Awesome. Yeah, you have some outside the box thinking and conversations and ways that you do that. So that's super cool. All right, Andy.
So you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram at BeCounter4Good, and I'm going to send you a link to the EWG Healthy Living app. That's a free app that helps you navigate personal care products in your home. You can scan what you have. If you don't like what you see, contact me and I'll help you find a safer swap.
Super awesome. It's the best app. I have it. It's fun to be in the store and just like scan stuff and be like, oh, no way. Like some of your favorite products or that you thought were your favorite products out the door. All right. And then Heather.
You can find me at thechaosandcookies.com. I also have a podcast. I have lots of great guests. Jackie's been on it, and lots of information there. And then you can grab a copy of a free pocket playbook. And so it's like your essential starts, and it's free download at my website, which is in the comments. And then also I'm going to plug the No Problem Parenting book. I have a chapter in there as well with the 3 C's that includes that closet hanging trick. There's 2 more about cooking and also clutter that you can go snag. And the rest of that is a great resource with all the other authors as well. So go grab a copy of that too.
All right. So why don't we, so No Problem Parenting, Raising, I have it in the other, I don't have it in my books right here. Raising Your Kiddos with More Confidence and Less Fear. That's our brand new book. Heather's an author in there, and myself. And then there's like 20 other authors in that book with a variety of topics and things. Hey, you guys, thanks so much for being on today. This was fun. I hope everybody that was able to log in. I know it's during work hours and homeschool hours and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we'll have a lot of people watching the replay. Make sure you comment #replay. And if you want me to gift you one of the No Problem Parenting online courses, just put No Problem Parenting in the comments, or you can message me privately. I'm giving 5 of those away today. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.
Everyone.